think that one of my favorite parts about watching like championship series in general, whether it be the Super Bowl, the World Series, NBA Finals, WNBA Finals, is watching somebody become a hometown hero or a hometown legend in real time. Now, while that may not be from that area, they got drafted to that team and they became just like an icon, a legend in that team. Like for example, like I was talking about it earlier with my coworker. I think that Eli Manning could walk into any steakhouse in New York City at any time he want, no reservation, and he could get a table. Same thing for Derek Jeter. Same thing for Alex Rodriguez. Same thing for, I can't name any Knicks because the Knicks haven't won a championship in my lifetime. But just seeing just like that happen is just like always a crazy phenomenon. And we just watched it happen again tonight with Sabrina Ionescu coming off the way how she was struggling the entire game. She seemed like she was really non-existent, a non-factor for most of the game. For her to come through and really in that entire last really minute and a half, 2 minute stretch to the Liberty just proved why people have been saying that she's been the best player on the Liberty all year. Explains why down the stretch with a game where Stewie has 30 points on 9 of 20 shooting, playing phenomenal, knocking down crazy shot after shot. Sandy Brondello drew up a fucking ISO play at the top of the key with 10 seconds on the clock for none other than Sabrina Ionescu, and she pulled through.
Whalens to trigger in, gets it to Moore. Moore will get it off. The shot is good. Game 3 belongs to Maya Moore and Minnesota.
That's just insane to see happen in real time. Insane to watch it just blow my entire parlay up in absolute smoke. Just what a shot Sabrina just hit. And just as somebody who's just been a fan of her, just really just as she came into the league, really since back when she was in Oregon, which once she got endorsed by Kobe and all that stuff, I was a fan and all that. Seeing her get this shot, seeing her with all the the slack that she's gotten over the course of her WNBA career, whether it be from fans on Twitter or just different interactions she's had on the court, she's had just her own struggles getting into where she is today. She capitalized on her opportunity. So huge shout out to her. And what a fucking game. I had to talk about her off the top, but what a fucking game. So the New York Liberty beat the Minnesota Lynx by a final score of 80-77 in a phenomenal game. Absolutely insane game. Minnesota came out firing, absolutely knocking down shots, playing the game that I really expected them to play after two, not great starts they got off to. And in New York, they came out, took away, I think it was as much as a 15-point lead. And I feel like they did a good job of controlling the game really throughout the entire time. Like I think that there were times where the Liberty were able to bring in closer, cut into the double digits and all that. But I think that the Lynx did a very good job of keeping them at bay for a good portion of the game. But just down the stretch, like when it came down to it, like what was my big I guess calling point for the series was that the superstar was going to have to be superstars, and whoever's team superstar came out and actually had that that moment was going to actually win the game. And tonight it was the Liberty. With the way how they were down the entire game, they would have been down by 25, 30 points if it wasn't for Breanna Stewart coming out and giving you 22 second half points, 9 of 20 from the field, 10 of 10 from the free throw line. So I'm glad that the free throw demons aren't still on her neck after that game one miss. 11 boards. She was an absolute defensive monster tonight. Like all the credit that I gave to Fee in game one with the way how she won that game basically by herself on defense, I'm going to give the same exact credit to Breanna Stewart. She would clean up mistakes that her teammates made. If they were to turn the ball over, she would go ahead and get the ball back. She was blocking shots left and right. She finished with 4 blocks. I'm surprised she only had 1 steal. I feel like she had way more steals than just 1 steal. But just you got to give credit where it's due. Like I'm somebody who's been very I'm somebody that's been very, critical of Breanna Stewart, just in her New York tenure. Like I think pretty sure I said in the first video, I hadn't seen her really come through in that moment, and I just had it like fixated in my mind that she just wasn't a player that you could rely on. But in this game, like she was the entire Liberty team. Nobody really came out here and gave you a phenomenal game. Like Sabrina had 13, but a lot of that was at the end. Phoebus gave you another 13. Jonquel Jones gave you another 13, and that was really it. A lot of the heavy lifting was from Breanna Stewart and her offensive performance today. And she knocked down a couple of threes. She was knocking down some crazy difficult mid-range shots, getting and ones. Just everything that the team needed from her on the offensive end, she did it, and she more than brought what was needed on the defensive end. Jonquel Jones had another solid game. I could definitely see like where the Lynx are actually starting to I guess phase her out in the series a little bit, but time and time again she proves that like she needs to be on the floor, and that when she's on the floor she's a different maker. Like that 3 that she hit towards the end of the fourth quarter to give them the lead, like, or not to give them the lead, to bring it within one. That was a huge play. That was a huge play at a time where I thought that momentum was swinging back in Minnesota's favor, and they were going to be able to run away with they had the crowd already going. They had a record crowd. I think it was, over 19,000 fans in the stadium, all rocking, just trying to take that 2-1 advantage. And Jonquel Jones' three really, like, it kept everything bottled up to a point where you felt like New York could come out here and fight through. And even when they took that 4-point lead and they ended up losing the 4-point lead and they ended up tying it, they stayed poised. They ended up making the right plays down the stretch, and they're able to walk away with a 2-1 lead with one more game to win to capture their first championship, man. Absolutely insane. I don't even know really where to start about this. I guess I've already started just, talking about the game. I just can't believe that Minnesota fell apart like that. Like, Minnesota's a team that everybody talks about how well coached they are. They're a team that you just feel like they're just so disciplined, and they like a team that where if they get a 15-point lead like this at home in a record crowd, everything going their way. Let's see how many threes they knocked down. I said they needed a game, but they knocked down a lot of threes. It wasn't today. They only knocked down 9 threes. But they had big performances across the board. Fee gave them 22. Kayla McBride gave them 19. Courtney Williams gave them another 12 and 9. Bridget Carlson finally gave them a game that they needed, where she knocked down 5 3-pointers. Gave them 14 points. Like, she gave them. Wait, that doesn't work. No, she had two 3-pointers. She knocked down 5 shots in total. She knocked down 2 3-pointers. Gave them just that offensive scoring punch off the not off the bench, but she gave them that that added offensive punch that they needed. And just that's a game where I have it drawn up that's a game where the Minnesota Lynx win, but you just saw the cracks and a lot of like little mini flaws come through with this team. Like, as much as I talk about them being a team that loves to, be free flowing and have their offense, buzzing and all that, when they're not able to get into that, and really it's just like when their unit is not whole, like their starting five of Kayla McBride, Courtney Williams, Fee, Alana Smith, and Bridget Carlton, like when they're on the court, I think that they're probably one of the best starting fives in all of basketball. Just the way how they are able to feed off each other, they all provide the spacing that each other needs for them to be able to get the shots that they want. Once Alana Smith went out of that game, all of that free-flowing, all that action that they had going in the first half basically evaporated. All the spacing that Fee had to work in the paint evaporated. That's what allowed Brianna Stewart to roam and to get a lot of those blocks. Courtney Williams was not able to get into the mid-range how she wanted to, because with Maisha Hines-Allen on the court is it's a lot stuffier. It's a lot tighter out there on the court, so there's not a lot of space for her to just dribble to the elbow freely and knock down a jump shot. I don't think that I've seen Kayla McBride outside of that really difficult shot she hit in the fourth quarter. I don't think she got a good look after the first half. Like, when they're not whole, when they don't have all 5 of that unit on the court, they don't function the exact same way, and they don't necessarily have a player where, like, honestly, I'm surprised that Xana Lucini didn't get more run. She only played 8 minutes, but she was 2 for 2 when she was out there. And I think that in a moment like that, call me crazy, I think that you got to put Peely in the game. Like, I know that she's probably, like, not ready defensively and all that, but just for the spacing of it all, for them to keep doing what they're doing, like, they needed that spacing on the court, and them not having Maisha Hines-Allen on the court really just took a lot out of them, took a lot away from them, and that's a tough loss. That's a tough loss. I said last video that if the Lynx had lost if the Liberty won game 3, then that was going to change my entire outlook for the entire series. And in a way, it definitely did. The way they definitely did. They battled back in a way that I wasn't sure that they were able to do. Honestly, I hadn't seen them have to battle back, in that scenario really. I don't think all season from the games that I've seen, and for them to come through and just kind of like strong arm a team that I thought couldn't be strong armed and get bullied off their block. They did just that, proved why they were the best team in the league all year. And now going into game 4, it's just like, just the smart side of me says that we got to go ahead and I got to assume that the Minnesota's going to be able to hold serve at home, even though they're coming off a debilitating, just heart-wrenching loss. The same way how New York is able to bounce back, I think Minnesota will be able to. And then it's going to come down to a game 5. And once we get to a game 5, I don't know, man. I said in the very first series, in the preview for the series, that if it came down to a game 5 in New York, I'm not sure if I have Minnesota winning that game. And I guess I'll have to see what happens in game 4. We could be looking at a new champion in the WNBA, the New York Liberty, if they were able to win game 4. That's all I got, man. What a game. What a game. What a game. Shout out to Sabrina. Sabrina definitely got stiffed for WNBA all WNBA first team today. She definitely deserved that spot over Alyssa Thomas. And I'm glad that she was able to knock down this shot just to kind of, really stamp it that was a spot that was rightfully hers and she deserved it. And I know that she'll definitely take this moment over that, and she'll definitely take a WNBA championship if she's able to win in game 4. Sabrina, I'm mad that you did tank my parlay though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had your under, that was free cheese, but you did take my parlay because I had the Lynx on the money line. But shout out to you, my girl. Shout out to the Liberty. Shout out to the Lynx. Can't wait until game 4. Make sure you guys let me know what you guys think about game 3 in the comments. Let me know what you guys is gonna happen in game 4 for the rest of the series. Was that the most cold-blooded shot in WNBA history? I don't know. Somebody who just started this year, I'm gonna say yes, it was. But that's all I got for this one, man. Peace and love, family. Deuces.